Yeah, real quickly before I upload the video, I want to talk about I did remove a lot of videos when it comes to the soldering of the wires because I'm not very good at it. I could tell. I would show y'all, but it's in the truck. It's dangerous. It's expensive. You know, I use the Aeromotive 340. It's an expensive pup. I don't want to ruin it. But all the wires, the ones I use, and the different colors that are from the pump, the sending unit to the OBS harness, those are correct. But if you're good at soldering wires, then go for it 100%. But you know, when I look back at it, I'm like, man, those was some trash soldering that I did. You know, like the Aeromotive fuel pump, the red and black wire from the after you use the connector, run them through, you can't even flare it, so you could splice them together from the Aeromotive pump to the OBS harness, you know, the 3-plug connector. And you know, it's like, well, I guess I just wrap it around. That was not the right way to do it. So just look forward for that. You know, what I'm gonna do is just send it off to a professional. You know, when I take off the bed and everything, go ahead and send it out to someone who knows how to solder. So that's just my 2 cents about it. And you know, I'll admit when I make a mistake. You know, I don't lose nothing. I'm telling y'all. But I hope y'all learn from my mistake. You know, send it off to a professional who knows, or if you're good at it, then you know, do it right the first time. You know.
All right, y'all, I'm back. I'm going to show y'all this ground 109 and ground 108 that comes off the harness, off the OBS. It is freezing cold. I mean, look at all that ice. Let's go ahead and do this quick. All right, y'all, so you see where the R4 AC unit is? It should come right off of that part of the harness. Let's see if I can sit my phone. I went ahead and marked it down, and here they are. There it is, these two, 109 and 108. It should come off the AC harness. Here's the AC harness. Go down a little bit, come off right off it. So yeah, make sure you have these in order for your PCM, your fuel module, all that works. Need these two. This is why you don't cut anything off the OBS. All right, y'all. This is part 2 of the fuel pump. The bulkhead with the 4 holes finally came in. And right, what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and open up the original hole for the original bulkhead, just so I can fit this. Right off the bat, y'all, this larger part has to go to the bottom because if you leave it up here, you have some clearance issues. So I just want to get a rough estimate of how I'm gonna cut it. There is a indentation here. I'm gonna try to go in the inside of that just because the diameter of the bulkhead is smaller if you put it up against the edge. And the gasket on here is very thin too, so you don't want to overdo it. We'll be using the Dremel. See how that goes. All right, y'all. I tried with the Dremel. I tried with the small bit, but I went ahead and got the biggest bit I had. The problem with this is like it'll twist, get stuck, so you just be careful with it. Especially if you're grabbing it over here, like wherever you're grabbing it, this bit could go through and get your hand, you know. You don't want to be there. But yeah, I tried with the Dremel. I tried with the smaller drill bit. It's not, you know, not cutting straight, not cutting the metal, so I'm just using a big one. Shout out to Texas Racing Channel. I'm watching him as I do this. It's a good channel if y'all want to subscribe to that one. All the local racing happens there. Let's see, Texas Racing Channel. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna use, got the biggest drill bit I had. I'm just gonna cut it through and hopefully it fits. All right, y'all. I went and got this big drill bit in, and you can see where the stamp line is. I guess I have to cut through that because it's still not fitting in. Still got a long way to go. Almost there, y'all. Barely getting, keep forgetting about the threads, have to get through too, you know. Yeah, almost there. Right, y'all, there it is. Bam. It does sit flush. It's a lot of grinding, a lot of drilling. I went ahead and used a file to get all the loose pieces. Obviously, you will nick a few areas, but make sure there's no holes and you should be fine. Yeah, I don't have anything to depin these wires, so I'm gonna have to cut them from the very edge here. And when I pull them, it looks like they do run through. So hopefully I could relieve some slack from certain parts here and there, just so I could run them through the bulkhead. Alright y'all, this part is trash. You will not be needing this. Obviously, if you have like a Robro 255 pump or one of the Vortex pumps, you can reuse the original bulkhead. You can use it, but since I'm going with the bigger Aeromotive new bulkhead, the original one will burn and you have to put new and new wires. You will need the blue one for your gauge. This black one as well, you just run into the old harness. But yeah, I'm thinking about putting this, should go through. Bam, hopefully that's enough. This, I'm gonna just go in between these two and just run it through. And obviously this Aeromotive pump should have a new connector, and you run those black and red wires through. All right y'all, the black wire, instead of running it this way, I ran in between the filler tube and the the fuel, the send and return lines. Run it right in between, and look at that, enough space. This one, I untied it. I went ahead and put it around here, and it just opened. And obviously if I tie it up here, it will not be in the way of the fuel level. This one I'm gonna have to run behind here instead of up front because it is in the way of the fuel level. So I'm gonna just run it behind it, just like that. Oh yeah, have all the wires run through. I went ahead and connected the Aeromotive plug that it comes with the kit. And yeah, here's the old bulkhead here that burns up. I'm gonna go ahead and cut them here. It is pretty long, so it'll be fine. Just a general run through. This ground goes with the fuel pump. The other ground, the black and white, goes with the ground that comes right over here. That's connected to the fuel sender. And then the, keep forgetting which is which, I believe, let me get the paper. All right y'all, so the red wire that goes from the fuel pump goes with the gray wire from the ignition, which is this one. And the blue wire that goes from the fuel level actually goes with the fuel gauge, which is the purple one here. All right, so blue, purple, gray, red. So yeah, here it is. I just broke it off. Obviously there's clips in there. This is the first video I had when I turned it down. Then now I'm gonna go ahead and cut these and splice them. All right y'all, next thing I want to talk about is this part right here of the bulkhead. The other one I have it already put in, the 4 hole. Here's a 2 hole. Obviously whenever you cramp this, hopefully the camera will pick it up. You keep twisting it and twisting it, what it does is actually cramps the wires together. Yeah, you can see that. Here's a better way I could explain it. So these 2 wires are through. I can still push them through, and then whenever you tighten it up, it can't go anywhere. I'm pushing it, barely anything. So yeah, there it is. And obviously once I loosen it up, see, the reason why I brought that up is because the 3 wires that go through the bulkhead, the power to the fuel pump, the ground to the fuel pump, the ground for the fuel sender, this black one, the ground for the fuel sender, this black one that goes to the fuel pump, this red one that goes to the fuel pump. The gauge is pretty thick enough to where it could be cramped, but the blue from the fuel sender unit is pretty thin. I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to cramp it with this one. No matter how hard I tighten it up, it's still pretty easy to get through, which means the gas will get through it. So what I went ahead and did is put it through. And I went ahead and mark it to where if I pull it straight, I went ahead and got a Sharpie and marked it. 1 second. You go ahead and pull it straight, tight as you can, and then you mark it with the Sharpie. Doesn't have to be exact, and you should have your 2 markings. Yeah, here's one, and here's the second one. What I'm gonna do is try to make this thicker by go ahead and putting some shrink wrap on it. Here's the 2 markings right there, and if I pull it right beside, yeah, that's fine. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and heat it up with the lighter. Start in the middle and work your way out. And what I'm gonna do is keep doing that until I layer it until it's as thick as these wires. Let's see. So I still got a long ways to go, but I do have this kit, Dorman 85700. There it is, 87500, and it has all different sizes. So I'm starting with the smallest. I'm gonna work my way up. Alright, y'all. I want to use 2 of the small ones and 1 size bigger, and it worked out pretty great. It's already struggling to get in when it's loosened. Just like that, and then obviously when I tighten it up, it's not going anywhere. Alright, y'all. Next step I'm gonna take is go ahead and remove the plastic off the wires with some wire cutters, and now I'm going to go ahead and start cutting and splicing basically. With this small one, I'm going to remove it out of the bulkhead first. Remove about, I don't know. Yeah, with this one, I'm gonna just move maybe a ½ inch on the ground just because it barely makes it through. We'll put it back through the bulkhead. That's as much as I got room to play with. So what I'm gonna do with the corresponding wire from the wire harness, I'm gonna push it through, and then I'm gonna do the work in this area because this is too tight of a spot when I cut, splice, and solder them together. And then I'll go ahead and pull it straight back through here. Obviously use heat shrink over here as well. I'll go ahead and show the process too. But all the other ones, obviously I'm gonna have to cut this down to this one as well, and obviously the blue one as well, and you know, cut these down. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the soldering these 3 wires after I put them to the bulkhead, solder them out here. Oh yeah, what I went ahead and did is with the ground to the fuel pump, I went ahead and put a heat shrink and went ahead and ran it through, and I'm gonna go ahead and wire it. Go ahead and splice that ground to the fuel pump to the white and black wire. Obviously in my first video, y'all should know about this. Black, red fuel pump, blue, black fuel level or ground to the sending unit. You know, going left to right. The ground to the chassis is black ground to fuel pump, gray to the 3-wire harness plug. This one is to red fuel pump. Fuel gauge is purple to blue. Here's purple, here's blue. And then obviously the black is black and white. Oh yeah, the way I like to do it is make it the fray method. Fray this one, go ahead and fray them together, twist, and then I'm going to use a solder. Obviously there's plenty of videos on how to do that, y'all. Just go ahead and twist them on, twist both sides, and then you want to touch it with the solder gun and then apply the actual solder itself. I'm gonna just wrap it up from here, wrap it up all the way, from the very bottom all the way. Last step is fuel repair resistant. I'm gonna add it up right here, and then right at the top. I'll let y'all know if it's good or not.